Hi there, landowner. I love the place. I want to stay here for another 6 months. Please accept. Thank you. Goodbye. You need to come up with some proper language behind it. Once you have your Canadian visa or American visa or English visa, Australian, New Zealand, but once you have the visa that allows you to enter one of these English-speaking countries, then you need to search for a place to rent. Obviously, at the beginning, you go for a short-term lease or a short-term rent. There is a difference, technically, there is a difference between rent and lease, but for the sake of our video and our letter today, we can ignore it for now. But there is a difference, and you can look it up if you wish. But let's say that you are going to rent a place temporarily. So it's going to be for maybe 6 months or 1 year. And just to figure out to adapt yourself with the new environment, with the new people, where the groceries are, how to buy food, how to transport. Basically, where is the public transportation? Where are the stations? And how to go to work, how to come back. Maybe you wish to visit some places for the first time. It's exciting, actually. So all of this requires a place for you to stay in. And then if you're interested, you might want to extend your stay. And that is a reality, and at the same time, the topic of today's letter. Welcome to IELTS Juice. We have a very good sample. This sample will help you not only for your English, but also in your real life. So stay tuned. 5 months ago, you started renting an apartment on a 6-month agreement. It's an apartment. 5 months ago, you went into an agreement. In some countries, it's a contract, but basically, it's not that huge deal, but it is still legally binding. So it's a legal agreement. It's not just some agreement. So 5 months ago, you went into an agreement with your landlord or landlady, and you became a tenant of this new property. This is an apartment. Anyway, you and your family, or you alone, you need to decide, have lived in this place for 5 months. Next month, the agreement will be finished, and you need to give your landlord or landlady 1 month prior notice that whether you are going to stay or not in that place. You now wish to stay in the apartment for longer than 6 months. Okay, that's pretty clear. You want to extend it. We know for the duration of 6 months. So you went into agreement for 6 months. You wish to extend it. Hopefully with the exact terms, the rent remains the same, hopefully. And the landlord or lady is not going to increase the rent like a giant price. It's not going to be a huge change. And you originally agreed with the owner, okay, so 6 months and then extend it, hopefully with the exact terms. Now, let's look at the bullet points. This says, write a letter to the owner of your apartment, landlord, landlady. It's a letter, and remember, this is a formal letter. Giving notices to landlords and ladies is important. It's a process. And if something goes bad, you can always take this letter to the court. So it should be a letter, it should be posted. It should have a date, and you know exactly when you sent it, when they received it, and they were properly informed of your intention, whether to stay in the place or not. This is a very nice process, and it's legally accurate for both parties, tenants and landowners. Say how long you now want to rent the apartment for. We know we are going to stay for 6 months, but we need to express it. And we shouldn't just say, "Hi there, landowner. I love the place. I want to stay here for another 6 months. Please accept. Thank you. Goodbye." You need to come up with some proper language behind it. You need to explain why your plans have changed, because your plans have indeed changed. You initially went into agreement for 6 months. Maybe if you went into this agreement for 1 year, you could have a better price. But because it is 6 months, you had to pay an extra. You didn't want to stay for more than 6 months. Now your plans have changed. Now you want to extend it. So you may want to consider that why you had this sudden, not sudden, but relatively fast or quick change of heart. And tell the owner about the problem in the apartment. Okay, so in the past 5 months, you have been satisfied with the place, you can say, because you're extending. That is a level of satisfaction. To some extent, you're satisfied. You're going to say, yes, I'm satisfied, I'm going to extend, and I'm going to stay here, but please fix this issue. And tell the owner about the problem in the apartment. It's a problem. So please, IELTS is not going to penalize you, but please stick to one problem. It's a lot safer, easier, not risky. Focus on one problem, but if you wish to develop that problem into smaller bits, please do so. But the problem should be framed as one problem. All right, this is a formal letter, as I told you, and let's read our sample here. Dear Mrs. Templeton, a very British name, I hope this message finds you well. This is a relatively formal letter. I am writing to inform you, good language, that I would like to extend, another good language, my lease on the apartment for an additional 6 months until February next year. Sounds good? Originally, my plan was to stay for only 6 months, as I had anticipated moving to a different city for work. I had anticipated, past perfect tense. Beautiful, isn't it? To a different city for work. However, due to some unforeseen changes in my professional situation, I have decided to remain in this area for a longer period. Okay, now I see the intention. I want to extend. 2, there have been some changes in my life. And 3, I have decided to stay for a longer period, and I'm going to explain further. So we are going to get into an agreement. So before we get into agreement, there are certain things that I would like to discuss. I can see the sequence of events. Let's move on to the events. My current job, which was initially a temporary assignment, has now been extended for another year, offering me a more stable and long-term position within the company. A little touch on this. Maybe you don't want to share some of the details. You have every right not to share some of your personal, professional life circumstances to a relative stranger. Relative, not a complete stranger, but this guy is not a member of your family. This guy is actually Mrs. Templeton, sorry, this woman. Additionally, I have grown quite fond of the neighborhood and the convenience it offers, including the proximity, good word, to my workplace, various grocery stores, and the peaceful parks nearby, making it an ideal place for me to stay while I continue working here. There are 2 reasons. They sound very clear, to the point. I love them. I really like the organization and the development. I totally am convinced the various grocery stores and the parks, and also it's close to your workplace, there are very good and very legitimate reasons for staying in the place. While I'm generally very satisfied with the apartment, I would like to bring to your attention a minor issue. This is a very formal, very good structure. I would like you to learn this one. This is a very, very interesting, formal, and easy to learn structure. You bring to someone's attention something, or you bring something to someone's attention. This is a very, very good structure to learn. Please learn it. It's very effective specifically for formal letters. You don't tell them directly what something is, or look over here. You say, may I bring this to your attention, that, and then you continue. Or I may bring this subject, and you say that subject, to your attention, and you carry on with the structure. A minor issue that I have encountered, good word, and this is also good grammar. I keep saying good because, well, really, this is relative clause. It's an upper intermediate level, or rather intermediate level grammar. And I also have seen this relative clause used in other places, in the paragraphs before. Reduced relative clause, which is an advanced grammatical structure, and they're used flexibly and very well. There seems to be a persistent problem with the plumbing in the bathroom. All right. The water pressure in the shower is quite low, and it has been challenging to maintain a consistent flow. Okay, it's pretty detailed. So you have a problem with water pressure in your home. I would greatly appreciate it if you could arrange for someone to inspect and fix this issue. Second conditional, very good. And this suggests that you haven't arranged it. Please arrange it. And if you go ahead and do that, I will appreciate it. That has both this polite meaning that this hasn't taken place yet, and I would like you to make it a reality. That's why it is now second conditional and it's fictional. It's not reality because it hasn't come to pass. And you are creating this imaginary scenario in your landlady's brain, that, you know what happens if you could do this, I would really appreciate it. And she starts imagining, like, yeah, if this happened, yeah, good, that would sound good, and she would make it happen. Hopefully this is a very good, very passionate landlady, and not an annoying one. The final paragraph says, thank you for considering my request to extend the lease. To extend the lease. I look forward to hearing from you soon and hope we can come to an agreement that works for both of us. The last part was very effective. Soon and hope. Yeah, you hope that you can both get into an agreement. Best regards. Very safe closing, a very safe valediction, very polite and appreciative closing statement. 255 words is a lot of words. I can give you that. Let's look at the band descriptors. All right. So I see a lot of 9s, so I don't need to explain the 9s. I just focus on the elements that we can improve. The first one, a little bit more details. A couple of things come to my mind. Maybe You can talk a little bit about your workplace. You can name a station. You can drop some names. You can say like this, specifically this Walmart, instead of saying grocery stores or this peaceful parks. Yeah, you can mention, you could have mentioned like a specific name of a park to be more specific, not overgeneralized. They're all correct. We want details to be, very, very effective. And they don't sound like you're advertising for that property. Like beautiful parks and peaceful neighborhoods and lovely places. It shouldn't sound like that. You're not talking to a large audience. You're talking to your landlady. So there are one or two parks nearby, not multiple parks. And you know that there are certain grocery stores that can give you all the things you need for your home. Again, one or two. You can just make one example. These things would make the conversation more realistic instead of an article published on a newspaper, which is not bad. We're just trying to make it 100% in line with the task at hand. And then everything manages all aspects of cohesion very well. I mean, everything I saw was correct and in line. You really wanted this place, so you were also you kept the formal tone. 9 is effortless. Like you could feel the connection between sentences here and there. That requires a little bit of control over grammar. There's a difference between using grammar and using grammar so effective that it doesn't feel that you have used a certain grammatical structure. That is very hard to teach. That is very hard to explain on a YouTube video, the differences. But the best way to do so is to ask you to check the description of this video. There is a link to this particular sample. We have improved it. The sample that we improve, you can check paragraph with another paragraph and you can see how it was improved. You can check the difference yourself and you will understand why it is not 9 in certain elements. For lexical resources, it's quite the language that we expect for a tenant to write. So there isn't anything more to add here, but for grammar, there is room for improvement, of course. All right, as I said, check out the description below for the improved version. And if you wish to see other videos like this, where we, assess and improve letters, essays, and reports, you know where to click. And I hope I'll be assessing your task 1s or task 2s later on. Take care.